You see him at family gatherings, the 35-year-old cousin who still lives in his parents' basement. He spends hours playing video games. He jumps from job to job. He cannot keep a relationship for more than a few months. His room remains a mess of action figures and unwashed clothes. When asked about his future plans, he gives vague answers about finding himself or waiting for the right opportunity. He is your brother who started 3 different college degrees but finished none. He is your boyfriend who panics at the mention of marriage. He's your father who still acts like the youngest person in the room. A grown man trapped in endless boyhood, a man who looks adult on the outside but behaves like a teenager on the inside, a man who runs from responsibility as if it were poison. Carl Jung called this the Puer Aeternus, the eternal boy, the man who refuses to grow up, the man who fears the adult world so deeply that he creates a bubble of permanent childhood around himself. This man charms people with his playful spirit. He makes them laugh with his carefree attitude. But beneath this cheerful mask lies a person who cannot face reality, a person frozen in time while the world moves forward without him. If you know someone like this, or perhaps see these patterns in yourself, this video will open your eyes. The manchild is not just immature. He carries deep wounds that keep him trapped in the past. Understanding these wounds is the first step toward healing. This video does not judge or mock. It offers a mirror that reflects hidden truths. Truths about why some men never truly grow up. Truths that might change how you see the people around you, or even yourself. The man-child problem affects millions of lives. Behind each case lies pain that spreads far beyond the individual. Mothers who cannot stop mothering. Fathers who feel replaced. Partners who grow exhausted from carrying all the adult responsibilities alone. The Puer Aeternus creates ripples of frustration around him. His girlfriend becomes his substitute mother. His friends become tired of his broken promises. His family walks on eggshells around his fragile ego. This pattern damages careers. It destroys marriages. It creates absent fathers. It leaves a trail of unfinished projects and unfulfilled potential. The man-child does not simply lack willpower. His condition has deep roots in childhood experiences, in family dynamics, in cultural messages about manhood. His emotional growth stopped at a critical point, leaving him with adult powers but childish control. What appears as laziness often masks terror. What looks like selfishness often hides deep insecurity. The man who avoids growing up does so because growth feels threatening to his very sense of self. Left unchanged, this pattern leads to bitter outcomes. Men growing old without ever having truly lived. Men watching life pass by from the sidelines. Men who realize too late that they wasted decades hiding from the very experiences that give life meaning. The stakes could not be higher. This involves human potential either fulfilled or wasted. The difference between a life fully lived and a life merely observed from a safe distance. The man-child appears in many forms. The professional student who collects degrees but never starts his career. The serial dater who finds a flaw in every potential partner. The creative dreamer, always talking about his big ideas, but never completing anything. These men share a common trait: magical thinking. They believe their potential alone makes them special. They think success should come without struggle. They expect life to reward them for simply being who they are, not for what they actually achieve. A man-child often shows brilliant flashes of talent. He might write beautiful poems. He might play music that moves people to tears. He might solve complex problems with unusual ease. These abilities make his pattern more confusing to others. People wonder, how can someone so gifted be so stuck? The answer lies in his relationship with reality. The man-child lives in a world of possibilities rather than actualities. When a dream exists only in his mind, it remains perfect. When he takes steps to make it real, He faces limitations, he faces judgment, he faces the possibility of failure. These threats feel unbearable to his fragile sense of self. Each time the man-child approaches adult challenges, anxiety floods his system. His body remembers old wounds. Old messages tell him he cannot succeed, that he will look foolish, that others will reject him. So he retreats to safety, video games, casual relationships, endless planning without action. This retreat happens automatically, often outside his awareness. He creates reasonable-sounding excuses. The timing is not right. People do not understand my vision. The system is rigged. But these excuses mask his deeper fear that he might not be as special as he needs to believe. Jung observed that the eternal boy fears nothing more than being ordinary. The thought of becoming just another adult with bills and responsibilities feels like death to his special status. What others see as normal adult life, he sees as a prison that will crush his spirit. This fear creates a painful paradox. By avoiding the very experiences that would help him grow stronger, he remains weak. By fleeing from adult challenges, he never develops adult capabilities. The very actions that would free him from his fears become the things he avoids most desperately. Please click subscribe if these insights help you understand yourself or someone in your life. Your support allows us to continue exploring these important psychological patterns. The man-child appears harmless at first glance. His boyish enthusiasm brings energy to gatherings. His creative spirit generates exciting ideas. His freedom from convention seems refreshing in a world of rigid adults. This surface charm hides a darker reality. What looks like freedom is actually fear in disguise. What seems like independence is often dependency wearing a mask. What appears as uniqueness frequently serves as armor against normal human growth. The shadow side emerges in his relationships. The man-child starts romantic connections with intense passion. He makes grand promises. He sweeps partners off their feet with visions of perfect love. But as soon as the relationship requires consistent effort or emotional availability, he grows distant. He finds flaws in his partner. He picks fights. He creates escape routes. His work life follows similar patterns. He begins jobs with enthusiasm, but grows bored when tasks become routine. He resents authority figures who give him feedback. He believes rules apply to others, but not to his special case. When projects demand persistence through difficulties, he loses interest and seeks something new. Money reveals his shadow clearly. The man-child often lives in financial chaos. He makes impulsive purchases. He ignores bills. He borrows without repaying. He expects others to rescue him from financial troubles he created. He treats money as if it holds no consequences. A child's view in an adult world. Most harmful is how the man-child affects those who love him. He drains their energy with his constant needs. He makes them feel guilty for wanting more from him. He turns their reasonable requests into evidence that they do not accept him for who he is. He creates a world where helping him grow up makes others feel like the enemy of his happiness. This manipulation seldom happens consciously. The man-child truly believes he is the victim when others express disappointment. He genuinely feels attacked when faced with normal expectations. His emotional development stopped at a point where criticism feels life-threatening rather than helpful. Over time, this shadow damages everyone involved. Partners become caretakers rather than equals. Friends become enablers rather than authentic connections. The man-child himself becomes increasingly isolated in his protected but limited world. Jung noted that what we refuse to face does not disappear. It grows stronger in darkness. The man-child who runs from adult challenges does not escape them. He merely pushes them underground, where they gain power and control his life from the shadows. Every man-child has a history that created his condition. No boy chooses to stop growing. Something interrupted his natural development. The mother relationship plays a crucial role. Some mothers cannot allow their sons to separate from them emotionally. They reward dependency. They punish independence. They make their sons feel responsible for their happiness. The boy learns that growing up means hurting his mother, a burden too heavy for a child to bear. Other man-children develop in homes with absent or harsh fathers. Without a healthy male figure showing the path to manhood, the boy lacks a roadmap. He sees adult masculinity as either frightening or empty. He decides unconsciously to remain in boyhood where things feel safer. Trauma creates many cases of arrested development. A boy who experiences violence, neglect, or sexual abuse often freezes emotionally at the age when the trauma occurred. His body grows, but his emotional self remains fixed at the point of injury. Some man-children grow up in homes where they received excessive praise for minimal effort. These boys never develop the muscle of working through difficulties. They expect life to be as easy as their parents made it seem. When reality presents normal challenges, they feel uniquely victimized. Cultural factors contribute as well. Movies celebrate the man-boy who avoids responsibility, yet somehow gets the girl. Video games offer virtual worlds where consequences disappear with the press of a reset button. Social media provides constant distraction from inner discomfort. The school system sometimes plays a role. Bright but sensitive boys who struggle with rigid education methods often retreat into fantasy worlds. Their creative minds become escape hatches rather than tools for engaging with reality. Whatever the specific causes the pattern establishes early, the boy learns that growing up feels threatening. He creates defense mechanisms to avoid this perceived danger. He finds ways to appear grown while remaining emotionally young. This explains why logic and argument rarely help. Telling a man-child to just grow up misses the point entirely. His behavior is not a choice, but a survival strategy developed when he had few other options. His fear serves a protective purpose his conscious mind may not understand. The hardest truth is that many children had parents who themselves never fully matured. They lacked models of healthy adulthood. They absorbed unspoken messages that responsibility equals misery. They watched adults around them live lives of quiet desperation and decided, that will not be me. For those seeking deeper understanding of these patterns, my guide, Healing the Boy Within, explores practical strategies based on Jung's work. You will find the link in the description below. Change becomes possible when pain exceeds fear. For most man-children, this moment arrives through loss. A partner finally leaves, a career opportunity disappears, health problems emerge from neglected self-care. The strategies that worked in youth fail in middle age. This painful awakening creates an opening. The man faces a choice between continued decline or difficult growth, between comfortable stagnation or uncomfortable transformation. The journey toward mature masculinity involves several crucial steps. First comes honest recognition. The man must see his pattern clearly without the usual excuses or blame shifting. This recognition brings shame, a necessary if painful emotion that signals readiness for change. Next comes mourning. The man-child must grieve the life he imagined where he could have everything without sacrifice. He must let go of the fantasy that he remains eternally special, eternally young, eternally full of unlimited potential. This grief feels like death because it is a death, the death of an outworn identity. The third step involves facing fears directly. The man must identify what terrifies him about adult life. Is it fear of failure, fear of being ordinary, fear of being trapped, fear of responsibility for others? Whatever monsters lurk in the shadows must be named and confronted. Building structure forms the fourth step. The man-child typically lives in chaos, emotional, financial, physical. Creating order requires discipline, a muscle he has avoided. Developing. Simple practices help. Keeping commitments, organizing living spaces, managing money, following through on promises, even when feelings change. Finding mentors accelerates growth. The man-child needs examples of healthy masculinity. Men who demonstrate strength without domination, responsibility without resentment, success without exploitation, connection without dependency. These models show that manhood offers freedom rather than confinement. The most difficult step involves changing relationship patterns. The man must stop seeking mother figures in romantic partners. He must stop expecting others to manage his emotions or solve his problems. He must learn to give support rather than just receive it. This shift feels threatening to his entire sense of self. What emerges from this process is not the death of joy or creativity. The playful spirit remains, but now serves life rather than avoidance. Imagination becomes a tool for solving real problems rather than escaping them. Sensitivity transforms from weakness into strength, the capacity to connect deeply with others. Jung described this integration as the union of opposites. The boy does not disappear. He joins forces with the emerging man. Together they create something more powerful than either alone, a mature, masculine presence capable of both strength and tenderness, both responsibility and spontaneity. This transformation rarely happens perfectly or completely. It occurs in cycles, with progress and regression. The difference is that now the man recognizes when he slips into old patterns. He develops the capacity to redirect himself toward growth rather than comfort, toward reality rather than fantasy. You have stayed with me through this exploration of a difficult truth. This suggests you see these patterns somewhere in your life, in someone you love, or perhaps in yourself. Every human carries parts that resist growing up. Everyone feels the pull toward comfort over challenge, fantasy over reality, freedom without responsibility. The man-child exists to some degree in all men. The difference lies in whether this pattern controls life or becomes integrated into a larger, more mature self. The most powerful truth remains this: transformation happens through action, not understanding alone. Knowledge without application changes nothing. The man who wishes to grow must start before he feels ready, must build discipline before motivation arrives, must face discomfort before comfort emerges on the other side. Jung taught that what we resist persists, but what we embrace transforms. The parts of yourself you fight will only grow stronger in opposition. The parts you acknowledge and integrate become sources of wisdom rather than sabotage. What aspect of this discussion touched you most deeply? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experience might help someone else who struggles with these same patterns. If you know someone trapped in the man-child cycle, share this video with them, not as accusation, but as invitation, an invitation to a larger, more meaningful life waiting beyond fear. Our next video explores the feminine counterpart to this pattern, the eternal girl who refuses to claim her full power as a woman. The psychological roots share surprising similarities, despite appearing very different on the surface. Watch that video to complete your understanding of these paired patterns that keep so many stuck in partial lives. Growth demands courage. But with courage comes the only freedom that truly matters. The freedom to become your full self in a world that needs all you can become.